The Scandalous and Shocking Life of Earl Warren, 10 Intriguing Facts. Earl Warren, the 14th Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, is often celebrated for his progressive rulings and leadership during a transformative era in American jurisprudence. However, his life and career were also marked by several controversial and intriguing episodes. Here are 10 of the most notable. Fact number 1. Personal tragedy, the unsolved murder of his father. Earl Warren's early life was marked by the influence of his immigrant parents. Born on March 19, 1891, in Los Angeles, California, to Matthias Warren, a Norwegian blacksmith, and Christine Hernlund, a Swedish homemaker, Earl was the second of 5 children. The family valued education and hard work, principles instilled in Earl from an early age. He attended Kern County High School before enrolling at the University of California, Berkeley, where he earned both a Bachelor of Arts in Legal Studies, 1912, and a law degree, 1914. In 1925, Earl married Nina Palmquist Myers, a schoolteacher and widow with one son, James. The couple went on to have 5 children: Virginia, Dorothy, Earl Jr., Nina Elizabeth, and Robert. Earl was a devoted family man, often emphasizing the importance of public service to his children. The murder of Matthias Warren on May 14, 1938, devastated the family. Earl, then California's Attorney General, pushed for an exhaustive investigation, but no suspects were ever convicted. This unresolved tragedy profoundly shaped Warren's belief in a strong justice system and the importance of public trust in law enforcement. Nina reportedly supported him through his grief, urging him to channel his sorrow into his career. Number 2. Role in the internment of Japanese Americans. During World War II, as California's Attorney General, Earl Warren was one of the most vocal proponents of Japanese American internment. In 1942, following the attack on Pearl Harbor, Warren supported Executive Order 9066, which led to the forced relocation of over 120,000 Japanese Americans to internment camps. Warren argued that their presence posed an imminent threat to national security, stating, "The Japanese situation as it exists in this state today may well be the Achilles heel of the entire civilian defense effort." This decision is now regarded as one of the most egregious violations of civil liberties in U.S. history. Years later, Warren expressed regret, admitting in his memoirs that it was not in keeping with our American concept of freedom and the rights of citizens. Number 3. The King Ramsey Connor Case. In 1936, Alameda County District Attorney Earl Warren prosecuted Earl King, Ernest Ramsey, and Frank Connor for the murder of a ship officer named George Alberts. The case, known as the King Ramsey Connor case, became highly controversial due to allegations of coerced confessions and questionable evidence. Critics accused Warren of targeting union members to weaken labor movements. Despite the controversy, King and Ramsey were convicted. Decades later, Warren, then governor of California, revisited the case and granted Ernest Ramsey a full pardon, acknowledging potential flaws in the prosecution. This incident reflected Warren's willingness to correct judicial errors, even those tied to his earlier career. Number 4. Association with the Ku Klux Klan investigation. Earl Warren took a bold stance against corruption and extremism early in his career. In 1931, as Alameda County District Attorney, he led an investigation into Sheriff Burton Becker, who was exposed as a member of the Ku Klux Klan and involved in a wide range of corrupt activities, including bribery and extortion. Becker's association with the Klan highlighted the dangerous influence of white supremacist organizations in local governance during the early 20th century. Warren's investigation culminated in Becker's conviction and imprisonment, marking a significant victory for reformers in Alameda County. This case not only solidified Warren's reputation as an incorruptible public servant but also demonstrated his willingness to take on powerful and dangerous adversaries. His efforts laid the groundwork for his rise to statewide and national prominence as a figure committed to justice and equality. Number 5. Chairing the Warren Commission. After John F. Kennedy's assassination on November 22, 1963, President Lyndon B. Johnson insisted that Earl Warren, then Chief Justice, chair the investigation into the tragedy. The resulting Warren Commission concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone, a finding that has since been the focus of intense scrutiny and conspiracy theories. Among the most persistent rumors is the theory that there was a second shooter, with some witnesses claiming to have heard multiple gunshots from different directions in Dealey Plaza. Others suggest that the CIA, angered by Kennedy's policies on Cuba and the Bay of Pigs invasion, orchestrated the assassination. A third theory implicates organized crime, citing Kennedy's and his brother Robert's efforts to dismantle the mafia. There are also claims that Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson had a role in the plot to secure his own presidency. Despite the commission's official findings, Warren himself reportedly expressed doubts privately, stating, "Some things we may never know." These ambiguities have fueled widespread speculation, making the assassination one of the most debated events in modern history. Number 6. Controversial Supreme Court decisions. As Chief Justice from 1953 to 1969, Warren oversaw decisions that transformed American society. The Brown v. Board of Education, 1954, ruling, which declared school segregation unconstitutional, was a monumental step in the civil rights movement. Warren personally lobbied fellow justices to ensure a unanimous decision, stating, "To separate them, children, solely because of their race generates a feeling of inferiority." Other landmark cases included Miranda v. Arizona, 1966, which established the right to remain silent, and Engel v. Vitale, 1962, which outlawed school-sponsored prayer. These rulings, while celebrated by progressives, ignited fierce backlash. Conservative groups accused Warren of undermining traditional values and overstepping judicial boundaries. The controversy culminated in the Impeach Earl Warren campaign, reflecting deep divisions in American society over the role of the judiciary. Number 7. Political ambitions and the 1948 vice presidential nomination. In 1948, Earl Warren was selected as Thomas E. Dewey's running mate on the Republican ticket. The Dewey-Warren campaign was widely expected to win, with many newspapers prematurely declaring Dewey's victory. However, in one of the most famous upsets in American political history, President Harry S. Truman defeated the duo. This stunning loss marked the end of Warren's aspirations for national office, although it paved the way for his subsequent appointment as Chief Justice. Number 8. Opposition to the death penalty. As Governor of California, Earl Warren oversaw 36 executions, including the controversial case of Barbara Graham, known as Bloody Babs. However, his views on capital punishment evolved over time. By the end of his tenure as Chief Justice, Warren became an outspoken critic of the death penalty, believing it to be inconsistent with a just society. His shift reflected a broader transformation in his judicial philosophy, emphasizing the protection of individual rights over punitive measures. Number 9. Relationship with J. Edgar Hoover. Warren's relationship with FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover was a complex one. While they collaborated on certain investigations, such as civil rights enforcement, Warren grew increasingly uneasy about Hoover's extensive surveillance activities. Hoover reportedly disapproved of Warren's progressive rulings, particularly those expanding civil liberties. Their tension highlighted Warren's challenge in balancing national security with the protection of individual freedoms, a theme central to his tenure as Chief Justice. Number 10. Legacy and calls for impeachment. Earl Warren's progressive rulings, particularly on desegregation and civil liberties, sparked intense backlash from conservative groups. The Impeach Earl Warren campaign, orchestrated by organizations like the John Birch Society, gained nationwide traction in the 1950s and 1960s. Billboards reading "Impeach Earl Warren" appeared across the U.S., reflecting the polarization his decisions created. Despite the controversy, Warren's legacy as a champion of civil rights and liberties endures, with many historians ranking him among the most impactful Chief Justices in American history.